Hi everyone, it's Kristen, and I have a very important announcement to make. I am in the midst of an existential crisis. Oh boy. So here's how it all began, basically. Because I need to kind of take it from the start in order to get to the point of this video. So lately, I've been very tired, and not in like a physical kind of way, but in a mental way. I'm very tired. I think it could be like a creative burnout. I don't know. I don't want to sit and ponder about what's wrong with me emotionally. Emotions are not something that concern me right now. Oh my God, I'm joking. But yeah, I've been a little bit, mentally exhausted and creatively exhausted to the point where I'm just like, I'm the kind of person that really defines myself by what I do creatively. Like I guess in a way this channel is my life, but not just this channel, the ability to create things and live off of creating things and contributing to things and, feeling like I'm doing something important, that it's not only important for me, but it's important for others. Like this is kind of what gives me purpose to wake up every day and be excited about it. And lately I've just been feeling very not excited about waking up and not excited about anything pretty much. I've been feeling very jaded about everything. Like nothing impresses me anymore. Nothing's exciting anymore. But to me, it's very justified. I feel like I've been around for 150 years at this point, and I'm like, when is it all gonna end? I can't take it anymore. But I haven't been around for 150 years. I haven't even been around for 30 years. And like, I'm just overwhelmed by time. I feel like I've had way too much of it. And obviously I'm being extremely ungrateful. There's nothing about these emotions that is, something that I should feel grateful for. Gigi, please do not move the tripod. She's like tangled herself in one of the tripod legs and she's just about to destroy it. Please give me 1 second. Also, I feel like I need to clarify that I am not depressed. I'm happy, and I've experienced depression, severe depression, with a lot of other words that I can't use on this family-friendly platform that is YouTube, but I know what that is, and I know I don't have that. So it's something else. It's also not like climate anxiety. I'm actually very optimistic about the future, even though I really shouldn't be, because all the facts kind of point to the direction that we're heading towards disaster, but I'm very optimistic about it. So it's not that. I just genuinely feel, maybe it's because I had my birthday recently, and I turned 150. But maybe it's because of that, but I just feel like I've been around for just so long. It's just like, oh my God, how much more of this do I have to endure? I'm not trying to depress you, by the way. I need to get to somewhere, and I need to go through this story to get there. I'm just like, I don't want to die, but if I had the option to go to sleep and not wake up, that would be great. And I would very much enjoy that option. Maybe it's just a phase I'm going through right now. So I expressed these feelings to my friend Daria, and I'll link her YouTube and Instagram below. Daria has studied psychology, so she's pretty much the best person for me to express these emotions to and these thoughts. And for me, I was like, I don't know how the conversation brought it up. I think I was just saying that wasn't it great back in the day when people died when they were 30? Now that's something that I would be very happy to look forward to if I lived back in the day, in the days of yore. And she was kind of concerned about it. She's like, that's not really something that you should be thinking. It's not a healthy thought. And I don't know why you're laughing about it, but it's something that we need to work on and figure out why you're feeling that way. So after talking for hours, what felt like hours, oh my God, I think I got like a free therapy session. I probably need to thrift her something very nice and expensive to gift her for that free therapy session. But anyways, we came kind of to the conclusion that like, I'm happy with my life. I'm happy. I mean, I am so incredibly lucky, and don't mistake me sitting here and complaining as like me not understanding my privilege and my luck and all of this stuff. It's just, no matter how lucky you are and privileged you are, you know, you're always gonna find something to torture yourself with. And for me, that's been my job basically, and the relationship that I've had with YouTube, because I love what I do and I love creating videos, and it gives me so much joy to like come up with concepts and write scripts and just film and all of that stuff. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love what I do, and I honestly believe that this is one of the greatest jobs to ever do, because you get the privilege to be your own boss and you don't have to answer to anyone, and just the best thing of all, you don't have to wake up with an alarm clock. And I've had a job where you have to wake up with an alarm clock at like 3 a.m. when I was flight attending, and that was honestly the worst. It made me hate alarm clocks. Waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, or like 2 after you've slept for 1 hour, and then you have to get up and work for 16 hours. You wake up and you just, I can't even express it. I would wake up with like heart palpitations, and the cores of my eyes, is that what you call it? The pupils of my eyes were either extremely dilated or extremely tiny, regardless of the light. It was weird. I don't know what that was, but it wasn't like, it was terrible. So I've done an extremely difficult job. A job that I would actually describe as probably one of the hardest jobs, for at least in the field of women's jobs. I mean, all jobs are for everyone, but it's predominantly women that do flight attending, and it is an extremely grueling job. And it's a lot of physical labor, crazy schedules. I mean, it was a lot. So I've experienced probably one of the most extreme jobs any woman can do. And by experiencing this, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty great. I don't want this to go away. But at the same time, as great as this is, the whole social media thing, can you please stop, Gigi? One thing that's always looming over me, and one thing that is always terrorizing me, is the platforms that I use in order to do social media, in order to be a content creator, and in order to do activism online. Honestly, YouTube and Instagram are like extremely abusive bosses. I don't know how else to describe it. I've had a lot of terrible bosses, and if you were to say that social media is my boss, because they are, it's one of the most abusive relationships one could possibly have with their like supervisor or superior or anything like that. Basically, you have no set amount of income that you're gonna have, which that's totally understandable. But then the other thing, it just gets more and more iffy the more you get into it. You literally create content, and YouTube, parenthesis. I was watching this podcast, I think it was called Seriously Wrong, or the Vegan Vanguard. I don't remember which one of the two podcasts it was mentioned on, but basically they were saying that iTunes, if you change one little piece of algorithm and how it works, literally everyone that has iTunes in the world would own all the music in the world. So iTunes' job is to basically stop you from being able to access all the music in the world. That's what iTunes exists for. And I was like, that's very interesting. I kind of feel that same way with social media, because instead of social media giving the content that I create to the entire world, social media and its algorithms exist to block my content from as many people as possible. And then sometimes, occasionally, my content is going to escape through the algorithm and be able to be viewed by a much larger amount of people. And that's one problem that I have. That's a big one. Another thing is you don't know how the algorithm works. You don't know what the algorithm wants from you. It's like you have a boss that's like, do well and make money for me, okay? And then you're like, okay, what do I have to do? And your boss is like, I can't tell you. And then your boss punishes you for doing something wrong and they hold your money. So that's demonetization of videos. So YouTube randomly demonetized my last video that I made, that I was working on it for a month. And why? No explanation, no warning before it's demonetized, no advice on how to not get demonetized again. And getting demonetized, I've mentioned that in previous videos, so I'm not going to get into it, but it's a terrible thing to happen for your video. And it basically kills your video if you're not a huge creator, which I'm not. So you have a boss that withholds your money without telling you why, that punishes you for doing something wrong without telling you what you did wrong, how to correct it, how to make that not happen again. It's so exhausting. And back to my conversation with Daria, I've been doing this for 5 years now, and 5 years is a very critical point, and you kind of reach a point where you're like, oh, this is what I continue doing, or you start something new. You're like, I'm done with this, critical point for relationships, for a lot of stuff. And I really don't want to stop doing this. It's just emotionally, it has been such a roller coaster that YouTube has put me on, because this isn't something that has to do with you, the audience. It has nothing to do with me, because I've been the same person since the start, and I've only improved since I started this channel. So I don't think I'm at fault here. It really is the fact that YouTube has the monopoly on content creation when it comes to video, and YouTube is just the most evil, abusive overlord that one could have in this situation. Especially considering the fact that YouTube, especially since they have the monopoly on online video, they should be the ones making the rules and not sucking up to advertisers and pandering to whatever advertisers want. But instead, I'm not going to use any vulgar expressions because that's all I have in my mind right now. But yeah, instead, they're just sucking up to advertisers and completely emotionally abusing their content creators, which is, we make this platform. And then they go and take the money that they make out of our ad revenue and they use it for YouTube plants, and they give millions to celebrities to bring them into YouTube. I don't know anymore. I genuinely hate this platform so much. And I just hope and pray to the gods of Olympus that one day there's gonna be more options when it comes to social media, when it comes especially to sharing videos online, because this monopoly that YouTube has is so destructive. All monopolies are very destructive, to be honest.
This is teachers. This is Lita. Did you want to say something to the microphone?
Nope, nothing to say? Okay, just sit down here then and be good. We came to the conclusion with Daria that the reason why I want to sleep forever is this. It's not what I do, it's the platform that I do it on and the emotional roller coaster that this platform puts me on. And the reason why this whole thing is happening is because, I'm at fault here as well, because I put a lot of value and I've created a channel that is very much based on reaching new people, because that's pretty much the entire point of what I'm doing, introducing as many people as possible to sustainable living, to ethical fashion, to veganism, to all of this stuff. So I've put myself in a position where I need to constantly bring new people into this in order to feel like I'm achieving something good. But at the same time, this isn't something that is in my control, reaching new people. As good as my content is, it's not in my hands. It's in the hands of the algorithm of YouTube, whose job is to prevent my videos from reaching more people. And it's so frustrating. I cannot even explain how frustrating it is, because I feel so guilty about it as well, because I'm not doing manual labor. I'm not doing any labor. I'm just creatively trying to find ways to hijack the algorithm so that my videos get seen by more people, so that I can bring them into this movement and introduce them to different ways that they can live more sustainably. And when that isn't happening, I feel very much like a failure. So this is my existential crisis in a way, that I don't really know how to proceed so that I don't feel this way. And I'm trying to figure it out. So be patient with me, because I'm taking you on a roller coaster as well. And I don't like that, because I've been saying things like, I think in like 2 videos ago, I said, I'm going to be more positive. And then the next video was like 5 ways to die in 2050. So I did like a 180 turn, because this is what's happening to me. I'm like flipping on one side and then flipping on the other. And I'm like, I don't know what to do and how to be in order to hijack this freaking algorithm and get my videos pushed. And like, I feel like I'm making really good content. I know I'm making really good content. And I know I'm doing something different on this platform that deserves way more people to be able to see it, yet that isn't really what YouTube wants. YouTube wants their plants that they can control to be getting all the views on YouTube, and they want the celebrities that they can control to be getting all the views on YouTube, and they don't care about a little girl in Greece and what she wants to achieve on this platform. And that's the sad truth. And yeah, this was a lot. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get to something else here. Because this isn't really the point of this video. So basically, I was like scrolling through Instagram, and there were like quite a few more butts than usual. I made previously a video about Instagram and how I felt about it, and that was actually a very cathartic video for me, and it helped me have a much better relationship with Instagram. And since then, I've been enjoying the platform quite a bit. I've muted all the accounts that I felt bad unfollowing, and I also started following a lot more art accounts, because that's what I really like on Instagram, and other accounts that are educational. And I think like the Zero Waste Club, check them out. They have a lot of informational stuff on there, and I like that. And for some reason, my feed had a lot of butts, like a lot of bikini shots and butts and whatever. And I had to mute them. And I had to sit down and think about, because I have to analyze every single thing that I do. I kind of feel like we live in a man's world, okay? 'Cause this is a man's world. I can't say we live in a man's world without that song playing in my head. But think about it. The richest people in the world are pretty much men. The CEOs and the business owners of huge multinational corporations are predominantly men. The movie directors, so the people that control the art and the media that we see, are pretty much all men. The late night talk show hosts in the US are all pretty much men. I don't hate men in any way. I'm trying to get somewhere. All the top YouTube channels are owned by men. Not all of them, but like 80 to 90% of them. So the people that are in charge and are in control of the products that we use are men. The people in control of the media that we look at are men. The people in charge of politics in pretty much most countries are men. So yes, we very much live in a man's world, in a world that is controlled by men, bought and sold by men, and created even artistically by men. And I think that in order to stop that from being the status quo, or like what's normal, I believe a lot in like infiltrating movements. So instead of I don't think there's any way to organize all women together and be like, you know what, if you think you can own anything and everything and rule everything, we're just gonna go there and do our own thing. We're gonna remove ourselves from this man-driven society and we're gonna do our thing over there, That's not a possibility. So what does happen is we as women infiltrate all of this. We infiltrate politics and business and art and science and everything. And through that, we bring change, and hopefully not just white women. Ugh. That was a joke, but like not just white women. It has to be like a diversity of different women that enter all of this. Because if it's just women, just white women that do that, there's really not that much that's gonna change, to be honest. So diversity of women that infiltrate all of this in order to hijack it and change it. Because so far this man-driven and man-ruled world is not going that well. I'm not saying that men, are evil or anything, but they all alone and single-handedly have brought us to this situation. And the only part women have taken in this is the fact that they've been forced. Really, it's not from their choice, but they've been forcefully silent. And I talked a little bit about silence in my latest Instagram post. Go follow me on Instagram at Kristen Leo if you want to find out what that was. But I talked about the fact that I feel like since I was younger, since I was a little girl, I was basically told to be quiet and to not complain and to not be bossy and like all the stuff that pretty much all of us girls have been told not to do. And I explained like in that post and in my caption that pretty much that lack of vocalizing your distress and your complaints and your needs is what has led to all of this happening, and it's what leads to disaster. We need to vocalize and we need to speak up, not only as women, but anyone that needs, things to change and sees that things need to change needs to speak up. And I was thinking of how do we get taken seriously then as women in a man's world? How do we play this game? How do we play along? How do we hijack this? And I think it's definitely not through butt pictures on Instagram. That's for sure. But I combine those two thoughts in a way. And it seems to me, one thing that I've noticed that all powerful men do is they in no way have anything to do with their appearance. They do not promote their appearance in any way. I've never seen a successful man that has ever in his life shown his butt cheeks, you know? There's nothing wrong with showing your butt cheeks, and there's nothing wrong with nudity, and there's nothing wrong with showing your tits on Instagram if you are of age to do that. But nobody that has ever ruled the world and controlled the world has shown their butt cheeks on a public forum, on social media, or on TV, or in movies, or in anything. And I feel like there's a reason behind that. We live in a very conservative world, so any expression of sexuality it kind of immediately takes power from you. So this whole thing that like, oh, being nude and sharing it online is empowering, I feel like it does the exact opposite of that. Not that it's wrong, and not that I want to shame anyone that does it, but in a world where to be powerful, you have to at least appear conservative, like dress conservatively, you're really not doing yourself any favors. Another thing, obviously, that I need to point out is I don't believe that I do think, yes, women should infiltrate all of this. A diversity of women should infiltrate all of this. But at the same time, I'm not interested in a world where, oh, yay, there's an equal amount of billionaires that are men and women. Hooray! Like, that's not what I'm interested in. And like, I'm not interested in like, oh, yay, there's an equal amount of men and women that are in power and control our lives. No. Ideally for me, neither men or women are in power. Instead, like, we get a group of anarchist programmers, a diverse group of anarchist programmers that create a type of AI that organizes us, not even governs us or rules us, but just organizes us. That's my ideal version of authority, a lack of authority, and instead AI that anarchists have created that organizes us and puts us, that helps us, instead of telling us what to do. Whatever, let's move past my heavy bullshit, but I feel like I had to mention that. But yeah, getting women in a position where they get in power in order to hijack it and destroy it is kind of what I'm more thinking of. And in order to get to these places, in order to get to a position where a diverse array, are we like a platter or something? Like a spread of cheese? No, a diverse number of women get to infiltrate these movements and hijack them. We have to play with the rules. And the rules are made by men at this point in time. And I think that through this whole, I've been noticing like this rise in women being more obsessed than ever in materialism and in their appearance. And I feel like that is more so harming us than doing us good. Not that there's anything wrong with being interested in your appearance. I feel like as a woman, it's very hard because we're all so damn beautiful. It's very hard to not be distracted by our own beauty and want to share it with everyone in the world. And I get it, your butt cheeks are beautiful and your boobs are beautiful. And I get that you want to share that with everyone else. But if you are a woman that wants to hijack all of this and actually take part in changing the world for the better, you're not doing yourself any favors if you're objectifying yourself online, I think. And I'm not saying this at all in a slut-shaming way. Like, I want to clarify this. I want a world where women and men and everyone feels comfortable to share their butt cheeks online. But the way the rules are right now, it negatively impacts you personally, and even, I don't know, maybe this is a long shot, but I think that it does also have an impact on women in general, and the opinion that men in power have about us. And if women are seen as these ethereal, beautiful creatures that are frolicking around naked on the internet and, sharing butt pictures, bikini butt photos, that I feel like might even have a negative, might be negatively impacting us in being taken more seriously by the other gender. I don't know. I feel like beauty is great, but it seems like it's only useful in the way that I see it, and the way that I've noticed beauty being beneficial is only if you're, one, being interested in being a model. So being a billboard for the billionaire men that own the products that are going to be placed on your body so that you can advertise. Beauty is also useful if you're interested in, locking a rich man down, but even then, not that useful. And that's where it kind of ends. And we're like so consumed by it in this culture. Women in this culture have been so consumed by it, so obsessed with it, and we're giving all our money to something that genuinely doesn't really benefit us that much. And I don't know, this is a little food for thought. And obviously, I think that this isn't only useful for the women that want to go out and hijack the world, take over and then hijack the world, but I think it's also useful for just any woman in her life that wants to gain more power and wants to be more respected. I think this could be helpful. Moreover, when you look at all these powerful men that are in positions of power, not only have they not shown their butt cheeks on the internet, but also they're all just really hideous looking, to be honest. It's not like they're even remotely attractive. Like, look at Jeff Bezos. He literally looks like a slug. Not like a snail that has lost its shell. He looks like a slug that is washed up in the rain. And then Mark Zuckerberg, oh my God, he's like the kind of creature that you see when you get sleep paralysis. That's how horrifying his face is. And like, do not even try in the comments to be like, Kristen, don't ugly shame these people. Like, they have plenty of money to wipe all of their tears off if this really hurts their feelings. I do not care at all about their feelings. Are you kidding me? Why are we then trying to be so pretty? Why are we spending so much money on plastic surgery and on makeup and clothes? Like, so much effort put on looking attractive when these dudes look like terrifyingly gross. They're just gross. So gross. They're ugly as hell. And I just, if they can make it looking like that, why are we trying to focus so much on our appearance when there's just so much more important stuff that we can be thinking about and doing on? And if we are using social media to communicate and organize ourselves, why are we using it to just show our butt cheeks? That really is not achieving anything. That really isn't what we need today. And if you want to keep doing that, of course, do it. And like, congratulations on your glorious butt cheeks. But like, I don't want to look at them, honestly. And I don't know why you want to put your butt cheeks in my face, because that's what it is. When I put anything on social media, it's the equivalent of me taking a photo or a video and sticking it in your face and being like, look, look at this, you know? And when I'm gonna be this obnoxious person that is gonna do this and shove things in your face, it might as well be something that's, you know, something that you wanna look at and watch and listen to, or, you know, and if that photo is just my butt cheeks, I've said the word butt cheeks way too much, but like, if that's what the photo is, why am I taking this photo and shoving it in your face? This is so awkward. This is so weird. And like, when you're doing that, like, why are you doing that? I don't want to look at your body. Like, good job on your beautiful body, but like, I don't care. I don't care for it. I'm not into it. I like it, like, good job for having it, but I don't want to look at it. I don't need it in my life. I don't need to compare myself to you either, because that's not going to go well. Are you giving me any information? Are you giving me any inspiration? Are you giving me something that's going to empower me? That's what I want. I want something that's going to give me a reason to wake up in the morning. Another thing that I obviously need to point out is that I don't think that it is a good thing to be like, oh, let's look at what men are doing and let's do the same thing, because then that just leads to even more shit happening in the world. And that just leads to women also helping men in power fuck up the world, which is obviously not what I'm interested in happening. But looking at the tools and the ways that men brought themselves to power is something that we should be copying. And then eventually at some point changing, of course. But right now, we got to copy them and we got to look at what they're doing in order to get to the same place that they are. So, you know, for me, I guess I got to look at what the YouTube channels are doing that are the most successful on YouTube. So I got to do pranks that terrorize women. So like sexist pranks. I gotta talk like this. That was my best PewDiePie impression, but like, I gotta look at what the YouTube dudes that are succeeding on this platform are doing, and they're all sexist, and they're all offensive, and rude, and materialistic, and superficial, and they're also like very ignorant about everything. They're very racist as well. Extremely racist. Oh, and then what else are the dudes? Oh yeah, they're funny. I don't even have to try to be funny. Literally, I'm just gonna insert fart jokes at whatever point throughout the video to let you know that this is a funny moment. Yes, this is what I gotta do. I've been trying so hard to be nice and sweet and like politically correct and all that stuff, and I've just been hijacking myself from becoming a better channel and a more popular channel. I just gotta be extremely offensive, which is how I am in real life. Whoa, this is gonna work great for me. I just can't anymore. I can't. Well, that's the whole rant. I don't know how I got here from like my existential crisis to this point. Oh yeah. Okay, I remember now. But all this stuff that I've been thinking and that has been going over my head lately has led me to evaluate myself as a woman and how I portray myself, and like, do I wanna not focus at all on my appearance? But then as a woman also, you know, we're either princesses or witches. We're either meant to be pretty and taken care of, or if we're ugly, we're labeled as like lesbians and disgusting and dirty and just these witches that are we don't want them in our society. You know, either way, we can't catch a break, it seems like. And I'm trying to find a way to tread kind of somewhere in between the witch and the princess. I don't know. And just figure out a way to be me in a way that is being accepted by as many people as possible. I had like a complete stroke, I think, but I'm struggling to put my thoughts together at this point. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to figure out who I am online and who I can be online. What I do is I actually dial myself down when I'm talking online. And I mean, obviously I do it for important reasons, because I'm not talking to my friends when I'm speaking online. I'm speaking to a huge number of people with just the opinions that are from one side of the spectrum to the other. And I try to talk in a way that is heard by everyone. So, but at the same time, maybe I should talk the same way that I talk to my friends, and whoever likes that just can stick around, and whoever is too offended by my opinions, you know, they can go away, like, thank you, next. But at the same time, I'm not here for myself, and I'm not doing all of this social media bullshit for myself. I'm doing it because I have a message that I want to be heard, that I want this message to be heard by as many people as possible. So I have to dial myself down in order to bring my message up. But sometimes that's also exhausting, like having to be this as sweet as possible, because I know I don't come across as sweet, and I know I don't come across as like the most likable person ever. And I'm even worse in real life. I don't even know how I have friends, but I need to dial all of my obnoxiousness down. And sometimes that's it's something that also fuels my existential crisis, because I just want to go online and just be like, fuck you, and fuck you, and fuck you too, and just, y'all can go fuck yourselves. Some days I just feel that way, and I know I can't do it, and I probably shouldn't do it either. But I'm just trying to navigate this existential crisis that I'm going through right now. And I feel like the tide is just pulling me towards being more of my true obnoxious self. And I think it's also because I can no longer fight it anymore, and because it's not worth it anymore, because I know that fighting this algorithm has exhausted me to the point where I'm just done trying, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be myself. And if I just feel like for the next 5 months, all I wanna do is just sit down and rant like this, then that's what I'm gonna do. And because that just feels good, and it helps me want to wake up in the morning. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I solved my own problem on my own now. So let me know your thoughts, especially on like the gendered stuff that I said. Obviously, my intention was not to be this like gender binary in this discussion, but unfortunately, the male binary, is that even a word, is what is governing the world. So I had to kind of frame it in this way. Anyways, I would love to read your thoughts in the comments below. And you know what? I'm not even gonna ask you to like this video or subscribe, because I don't think it works. I think YouTube has been telling me to do this, and I've been listening to someone that I should not be listening to. So yeah, do whatever the fuck you want. Hell yeah, rock and roll, bitches. Bye.